All right. Oh, there you are. Hi. Hold on. I'm fixing you now. Hold on. Hi. Oh, really? Hold on. Let me get that. It's not for me. I'm coming. Hello. Hi, good morning, you sons of dogs. Good Devante, thank you for saying hello to me this morning. So, I want to go straight off, hit it in the morning, bam, we're going to do it, okay, here we go. So, today's message is about two sides of the coin. His side, her side, and the reality. As we spin into an oblivious future. Because unfortunately, I don't see much good happening right now with the political world that we're living in. It's really kind of crazy, right? But what I meant by the two sides of the coin thing is this. This life we live is a very weird, rough life sometimes, okay? I mean, you have like days, like I did yesterday, where I'm talking deplorable actions, just completely unhappy with myself. My thoughts were all kinds of poo-poo ka-poo-poo. And it takes the right person at the right time saying the right thing. I had somebody else that same morning try and tell me the same things that my friend told me later. But, you can't lead a horse to water. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? And then also the other aspect of this is that sometimes when you're depressed, you kind of need to be depressed. And it's okay. It's just wallowing in your depression. No. This is not good. Not good to wallow in the depression. Okay, so let's not be sad. No. Let's drink our coffee. Let's say good morning. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good one so far. If you're not, change that now, please. If you can't change that now because, like I said, you're in a moment of depression, you need to feel it for the moment, please feel the moment of depression, then come back and watch this video. Jimmy, is that James? That is James. I love you, James. My brother, I'm doing much better today, obviously. Sometimes we have hiccups and we have to keep on moving. Sam, keep posting your positive messages every morning. They love me. I love them every day when I see them. I love how hardcore you are and how hard you're working. My dear Shem, I'm in Houston, my dear love. I want to sing and hang out with you. Let's do this, my friends. Please, let's hang out, Shem. I'm not kidding. My heart's breaking when we're not together. Habibi, I love you. Thank you for watching, saying hello to me this morning. I'm talking about two sides of the coin. See, yesterday I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and this is actually kind of a moment of what we're happening right now. And I'm gonna give the whole thing, and without giving names and stuff like that. Okay, so a friend of mine was dating a girl, and they separated at one point, and she was talking to somebody else, still not sure if this woman ever actually had sex with somebody else. Good morning, Bella. You are beautiful. I was just on the phone with Carolyn. Call her and tell her to say hello. So she, this guy, was with a woman. They separated at one point or something like that, or they've been going for like 4 or 5 years. Now here's the kicker of the situation. The guy that she supposedly was with walked up to another man, and this is very weird. When a guy walks up to another guy and is like, yo, dude, look, I'm just trying to be real with you and let you know this is what happened. Yeah, we've been hooking up for like the last 3 years, off and on, whenever you guys break up. And this devastated my friend. Devastated him. Now, mind you, he doesn't even know if it's real. He doesn't know if it's real, but he thinks it is. That's my kicker. That's what I'm trying to get at. There's two sides of the coin, right? There's your side, her side, and the real side that just keeps rolling along. While you're screaming on one end and she's screaming on the other. It's the same thing with what's going on in the political system right now. You got a freaking weirdo on one side, you got a freaking weirdo on the other side, and what's still going? The the crap. We're just riding over the crap with two people yelling at each other, calling each other names. And so I asked my friend, I was like, really? I mean, do you want to keep living this like this, where you're doing this to yourself? Good morning, Chad. Good morning, Nathaniel. Do you really want to do this to yourself? Where he's like, well, I need to know to let it go. I swear to you, he said it just like that. I need to know to let it go. I was like, what? Why do you need to know? What's the difference? So I took out my coin. I have this special little coin. Hold on. I have this little special little coin. Good morning, Lindsay. I'm still waiting for you to call me and give me the specs on your car so I can sell it for you so you can make some money. I'm going to start flipping a house in the next, I'm going to start buying a property here in the next little bit. For those of you who don't know this, if you're a first-time buyer in the United States and you've never owned a home or anything like that, even if you have the worst credit in the world, even if you're, I'm talking horrible credit, like bing, they'll still give you money. They'll still give you the ability to make, yes, I know, Martin, I'm a weirdo. It's okay. I'm okay with that, though. They'll still be able to give you the opportunity to actually build and buy your own home and do all those things. And I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm actually buying a property and I'm going to start fixing it. And then I'm going to sell it. I'll probably buy the property for about $80,000. I'll probably put about $50,000 into it. And I'll probably sell it for about $200,000, making maybe roughly 50, 60 grand. So can you do it? Yes, you can do it. Well, I don't know why you're laughing. I need to rent a house. Well then, Lindsay, you can rent the house I build. I'll build you a home, Lindsay. I'll build you a home. That was the Notebook. Back to what I was talking about. There's a coin I carry around in my pocket that a friend of mine gave me, and I don't know if you can read this. Maybe it's backwards. It is backwards. Here, I'm gonna flip the camera around. I want you to see this because this is actually kind of cool. It's this coin I carry around in my pocket, and the reason I carry it around in my pocket is because of the story that I'm telling you right now. I know that sounds stupid, but it's true. And it says on the coin, attitude is everything. And the thing I don't tell people whenever I do this little lesson that I do with people, I don't tell people that the coin is double-sided. Why won't this flip around? There you go. I don't tell people that the coin is double-sided. You see? And it's the same on both sides. It says attitude is everything on both sides. Now, the reason I do that is because when you're trying to make a decision and you can't, and you're like at that point where you're like, I don't know what I want to do. Flip a coin and make the coin decide for you. And then what happens is right when that happens, the decision that you've made will totally be the decision that you wanted, not the one that the coin made for you. Does that make sense? I know it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but it works. For those people who just can't make decisions and have the worst time making decisions, this is the trick. You take a coin, not a double-sided coin obviously, but you take a coin, heads for whatever one thing is, tails for the other. Period. None say more. You only got two options. You flip the coin. Whatever the coin lands on, you're immediately going to start to feel what it is that you really wanted to do. The coin is not going to make the decision for you. What's going to make the decision for you is the force of choice. Does that make sense? Like you're forcing yourself to choose. Not the coin. The coin doesn't do anything for you. You've done this before. I know you've done this before. You flip the coin, you're like, I really didn't want to go to mom's house. Let's go party in the fucking streets instead. And you're like, but you know the moral right thing is to go to mom's house. But you don't, because you wanted to go party. But that's not what this is about. This is about making the decision. This is about getting that place to the next step. And I promise you, listen, I've been saying this a lot, and I know that people are thinking I'm just wackity-doody-patooty, that I'm going to make a ton of money in a very short amount of time. And I'm going to show you how to do it every single step of the way. It's not hard. You just have to be willing to do it. And that's the thing. A lot of people think that I'm crazy. Listen, with the house that you go buy, right? And I'm gonna get free money from the government to go buy this house because I'm a first-time buyer. That's a big key principle. So if I have this first-time buyer money and they go, I can then buy the property, then put a mortgage on the property, take that mortgage, take that money from that mortgage, and I can actually fix the house, then sell the house, pay off the mortgage, and still make some money on the side. Do you see how that's done? So, and any bank will give you money on the house that they're waiting for you to foreclose on it because they make more money on it when you foreclose. They don't want you to actually have the house. That would be ridiculous. because that's not how fractional reserve banking works. And if you want to learn about how fractional reserve banking works, please look up a guy named Mike Maloney, Gold and Silver. He has an awesome YouTube channel. He has a whole series. It's a 6-point series that are like 30 minutes apiece to teach you what the difference between currency and money is, because there's a huge difference. It explains the derivatives process, or explains just everything that you want to know about things. Like anything. Like, listen, YouTube will teach you how to freaking clean your dishwasher, or like take it apart and put it back together. If YouTube can tell you how to do that, then YouTube will tell you how to make money if you look for the right videos and you look for the right people and you look for the right information. But guess what? I already did all that crap for the last 15 years. So why not just learn it from me for free? And I'll just link you to it and tell you about it. And if you're really interested, which is what I'm hoping for, because this is free after all, if you are interested in really learning to become someone who actually has money for yourself and not working for somebody else's dream, and you want to have money for yourself, then follow me. I'll show you how to do this. It's not hard. Once again, look, I started my own virtual reality marketing business for free. I have a Google Maps thing is free to put up on Google Maps, okay? No money. I didn't go to, if I wanted to actually spend the money on the business name, I can go to the county clerk's office in Clear Lake. This is my own place, right? Whatever, I know the area well. But I can go there, and I think it's $25. And I can have the name. I own that name. Nobody can touch it. And that's pretty powerful stuff. And so, okay, now that if I want to start a business, I want to do the whole thing, and blah, 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 you can do it for about $50. But if you're going to do like, you want to have a tax ID and the whole thing, altogether it's about $350. But still, $350 to have your own business. If you want to start buying and selling product from China, there's a website called dhgate.com. If you want to open up your own website, there's wix.com, there's Foursquare, there's so many different websites you can use for free. And okay, so granted, you have this little crappy www blah 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 HTTP crappy long ass URL, but who cares? Who really cares? If that's going to be the thing that stops you from making money, then you're not really wanting to make money in the first place. This is the key principle of things you have to know. You have to be willing to work for something to get something. I just finished working at the virtual reality booth for like 2 weeks for free, almost every day, like 8 or 9, 10 hours a day. And then on top of that, I was also selling and buying the cars with my friend. And I'm also there at his house. I was there for a week. And every day, I would just work for free. Didn't get anything out of it. Okay, so if I needed money or if I needed gas, the guy was like more than happy enough to throw me a $20 bill or buy me lunch or any of those things. But those are inconsequentials over the whole scheme of the idea of what we're creating. If you leave yourself the idea that I'm not going to have and therefore I won't be able to do, you'll never do anything. If you think that you need money to accomplish your dream, you'll never do anything. If you think that anything other than your passion, your time, and your directed force into the direction of what you want, you won't accomplish anything. Unless you do it that way, you're not going to do it. I promise you. I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I'm not trying to tell you that you're not good enough. I'm not doing any of those things. What I'm saying to you is that the only way to actually make it in this world is to do these things. And the things that you have to do are force the mind to believe in the concept at all times. At all times. My friend who was here a minute ago, Sam. I don't see people. Oh, there we are. Lindsay, I will follow you. Laugh out loud. I love you, Lindsay. There's all these people that were posting stuff and I didn't see it. Sorry. I need to rent a house. I said I'd rent you a house. And then Chad laughed. Love, yeah, gotta run. Carrie Lynn, I love you for watching. Tristan Guerra. Woo, go Paul, you rock, man. Don't forget about the IRA. I won't forget about the IRA ever. Are you kidding me? That's like the self-appointed IRA was my fun talking about. And this is how you actually take some money. If you have money and you're already able to start it off. In other words, you have about $100,000 or so of equitable money that you can actually use and then do what you want with. You put it into a self-appointed IRA. This way, it doesn't get touched by the government, and you don't have to pay taxes. Because a self-appointed IRA is it's not an entity and it's not a business. And I don't know if you know this, but entities and business are the same thing. So like a limited liability corporation, an LLC, the reason that you make that is so that when your company gets sued, you don't actually get touched. It's actually the company itself. And the company itself is its own entity, which has its own tax ID, just like you do. And so what does that mean? Okay, so if you want, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but watch the movie. It's called The Corporation. The movie about 8 or 9, 10 years ago now, and basically, it explains that during the Civil War, many people went to war to create freedom, right? The North and the South, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. America, third percenters. Anyways, the idea here is that these people went to war to actually create non-slavery and to help people become better. Now, after the war, the Supreme Court, I think, had 298 cases. It could be more. I think it's around that number. 298 cases of people who went to the Supreme Court to gain their freedom. And out of that, 295 or so of those cases were all corporate lawyers. I know it's crazy, but it's true. And those corporate lawyers intended the idea that because the way it worked like this was that property, slaves, property had now become free, and they had become their own entities. These are the legalized words that you used. So then what they said was, well, our property business is now supposed to be free, so it should be able to have its own entity, i.e. it should have its own tax ID number. And by having your own tax ID number, listen, I don't want to get into the whole thing, guys, but it's there. The information's there. It's called legalese. It's called the straw man concept. This comes from Black's law of maritime law. All of these are international border conceptual ideas. If you watch, there's great videos on it, on how it happens, on why it happens. And so basically, the border of a country, so far away from the land, water-based area, is that country still has the right to it. Then after that, a certain amount of space becomes an embargo area, and then a certain bit of space becomes like an international water area, and then it becomes like this open sea area. And there's so many countries that are really close to each other, i.e. South Korea and other places in that area, that they all fight over whose area is the area that owns the area, and they have wars and shit over it. It's really stupid, really. And it's all based on the fact that, here's the trippy stuff, okay? Here's where it gets fucked. This is all based on an idea that when you come into the dock of a location, you have to have papers, and those papers are called a birth certificate. So when you are coming out of your mother's womb, which is all water-based, love you, Lindsay. Call me later. Let's hang out. I would love to hang out, have some coffee with you. Call me in a little bit. We'll do that. I'll text you, whatever. So when you're coming out of your mother's womb, this is actually the moment that is called your birthing. And guess what? When a boat shows up to the dock, they call that a birthing. Why is this all like this? Well, because in the end, when you go to court, the only reason a judge sits on the docket, the dock, the reason for that is because no matter what the dispute is, it's always based on monetary value. Hence, when somebody kills somebody else, they have a maximum life term sentence. They sometimes a person has 22 life sentences. Why? Because a life in the material world of lawyers and business executives has value. And so if your life has value and you have a social security number, put those two together, then you are a valued member of society. Oh my God, that's really trippy. So what does that mean? That means as long as you play the game, then you're paying off the taxes for the future. So in other words, we now are paying off the taxes for the people that made the taxes before us, let's say the 80s and 90s. So us, people now that are paying into the taxing system, the 30 some odd percent that they're taking out of us every week and every year we pay taxes, that money goes to pay the debt that had been made before, not the debt that we have today. That debt is going to be paid by your children and your children's children. I know, it's crazy. Why do you think I got so upset for 10 or 15 years, screaming and going nuts and why could people do this to each other and how could you create mass slavery in such a way? But in essence, that's what this is. It's a form of slavery. Why? once again, if you understand how the financial monetary system works in this country, first of all, the Federal Reserve has nothing to do with the Fed and has nothing to do with the government. It's not even a government entity. It's its own thing. It's owned by bankers. And it's actually, you can actually buy stock in the Federal Reserve. That in itself, poopity poop poop, that's crazy talk. But the way that it works is that, like, the government issues bonds, then bankers bet over those bonds, just like I've been betting over cars. And then whoever gets that bond gets to go then give it to the Fed, then creates money. Poof! Yay, here's money. Now, the thing that really trips me out is what's called fractional reserve banking. And that's still going on today. So what it is this. I go to the bank with my piece of gold. Here you go, bank. I know it's a fucked up world, but it's okay. We're gonna circumvent the system with this system. I'm teaching you one step at a time. So the way that it works is that when you go to the bank and you deposit $100 in the bank, right? The bank doesn't actually keep all $100 in the bank. What they do is they write down a little bit of numbers and they say he's got $100. But what they actually do is they take 90 of that dollars. And then somebody comes in the bank and goes, I need a loan. They go, how much is that loan for? They go, $90. And they go, oh, here you go, thing. Now, when that person puts the money in their bank, they don't put all the money in the bank. Instead, that guy has $90 in the bank. But what they do is they only keep, it's called fractional reserve. They can do fractional reserve up to 9/10 of what's there. 9/10 of what's there. If you do this 10 times, you can create, I believe it's like $1,700 and something per. It's a ridiculous amount of money from $100. I think it ends up being like $100,000 at the 10th level down. That you've created money by having people ask for money. Because how does it work, right? Because when you ask for money, you pay out a certain amount of money, an APR, a percentage per year, based on that money that you've borrowed, right? 6%, 28% if you're using a credit card, if you have really bad credit, any of those things. So the way that it works is they think to themselves, oh, well, in the long run, this person's going to pay us back, so that's how we're able to make this money. Now, what happens when people don't pay back the money? What happens when their mortgage goes out and the deal that they gave to buy the house ends up screwing them? Well, this is what happened in 2008. This is how the housing bubble started. If you don't understand how the housing bubble started, I'll try and explain it to you very quickly. There's things called REOs, which are real estate owned properties. Real estate owned, all right, REO. Real estate owned properties. Now, what happened was that there was like Fannie Mae and there's companies, right? These really big companies. They're conglomerate corporations, and what they do is they take together, let's say I have a house and I have another house and I have another house, and they lump them all together into these like sellable things that you can bet on. You could say, I totally think it. So they'd say to them, this is what they would say. They would go, hey, listen, I've got this little setup here, right? It's got all these houses in it. They're all AAA rated houses. Now, AAA rated houses, if I end up running for president, I'm appointing you to my cabinet. I love you, Mark. So these AAA ratings, thank you, Mark. The AAA ratings, what they meant was that you would get $30 for every $1 you invested. Now, what they started to do as the financial bubble got bigger and bigger, they ran out of these AAA homes, so they would start to get triple B homes and triple C homes. And they would kind of lump the crappy homes, I swear to you, this is what they did, into the AAA homes, okay? And then they would still sell those homes for 30 on the dollar. And I swear to you, it was 30 on the dollar. Okay, so if I put $1, I'd get 30 back. $1, 30 back. Who wouldn't throw money into that crap? I know I would have if I was crazy at the time. So you get 30 to 1. Now, what happened was that they started filling these AAA rated homes more and more with all this crap. And then all of a sudden, there was a company that started recognizing this. And what they did was they created a way to, well, they didn't really create it. It was already there. They found a way to bet against the system. And not only did they do that, but they found a way that you could bet against your bet, against your bet, against your bet, against that bet, against that bet, against that bet, for infinity. Infinity. So, let me explain it. It's like this, okay? I go and buy this house, right? Like I'm talking about doing right now. And then I say to myself, fuck it, I don't really care about the house. I don't care about the property. I don't care about fixing it. I don't care about anything. All I want to do is collect my money. So what do? I take a mortgage on the house that I just bought, right? And then I just drop it and walk the fuck away. And before I do that, I put insurance on the fact that I'm going to fail at the house. So I get paid right off the get-go, right? I get paid, boom, right there. I get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 from a mortgage that I put on a house that I'm not going to give a shit about. And then I just drop the house. But before I drop the house, I put insurance on my property that it's going to fail. So I'm going to win either way. And this is what they did. So then what happened was, okay, there were all these other countries that were involved, right? Like, so Japanese markets and the Chinese markets. So that's how the bubble got so big, because what we did is we went up to these people. We're like, oh man, we're making so much money in America. Come on, join us, bro. We got AAA rated homes. So everybody started putting their money in. And then what happened was that somebody actually realized what was going on, and they were like, hi, I'd like my money back now. And then the big banks, which didn't have the money because they're expecting for this 30-year return, because that's what they're waiting for, right? The APR, the slow, trickle. You don't worry about the big payout. You take a little bit at a time. And so they were worried about that. They were thinking that was actually going to happen.